If I were a lich man, I-do-dee-do-die-do-die-do-die-do-die-do-dum. All day long I'd biddy-biddy-bum. If I were a wealthy man, I wouldn't have...
A political machine is a group which controls the activities of a political party, based on patronage, the spoils system, behind-the-scenes control, and long-standing political ties within the representative democracy. Tweed was born on April 3, 1823. He was the son of a third-generation Scottish-Irish chairmaker. At the age of 11, he left school to learn his father's trade and then became an apprentice to a saddler. In 1844, he married Mary Jane C. Scadden and lived with her family on Madison Street for 2 years. Tweed became a foreman for the America's Fire Company, No. 6, where he used the popularity to enter into politics. In 1852, Tweed was elected as alderman on the Tammany Democratic ticket.
Would land like a trumpet on the ear, as if to say, here lives a wealthy man.
With absolute power over who could be nominated as a Democratic candidate and enormous influence over appointments to office, Boss Tweed was himself appointed a deputy street commissioner and began putting cronies on the city payroll for doing no work. With his substantial kickbacks, Tweed bought several companies, which were promptly awarded city contracts. He was elected to the state senate in 1867 and within months had charmed and cajoled his way to similar near-absolute control over the state's capital. Tweed had conned and plundered the city of New York out of between $30 and $200 million. In famously barbed caricatures, Thomas Nast, cartoonist for Harper's Weekly, was one of the few prominent voices to speak against him, but Boss Tweed's dynasty was brought down from within, when the other members of Tammany Hall shared evidence of Tweed's corruption with the New York Times. The Times ran a series of articles exposing Tweed in July of 1871, and on December 16, 1871, he was arrested. On November 19, 1872, he was convicted on 204 of the 220 charges against him and sentenced to 13 years in debtor's prison.
Posing problems that would cross a rabbi's eyes. Hey-da-dee-da-dum, hey-da-dum, hey. And it won't make one.
Tweed never signed his name with anything other than a plain M, and his middle name is often mistakenly listed, even by otherwise reputable sources, as Marcy, rather than McGeer, but Tweed's son's name was William McGeer Tweed, Jr. The confusion is almost certainly because of a Thomas Nast cartoon with a picture of Tweed supplemented with a quote from William L. Marcy, the former governor of New York.
In the synagogue and pray, and maybe have a seat by the eastern wall. And I discuss the holy books with the learned man 7 hours every day. That would be the sweetest thing of all.
After 19 months in jail, he was released on appeal, then immediately rearrested to face additional charges in civil suits. Freed from prison on an 1875 furlough weekend, he fled to Spain, where he was arrested as soon as his ship docked. When he returned to prison in New York, Tweed gave a complete confession to all of his crimes in hopes of leniency or a pardon, but his listed crimes were so extensive, exceeding even what was already known and implicating many high-ranking officials, that the state's attorney general refused to make a deal. He died in the federal prison in New York City.
You decreed I should be what I am. Would it spoil some vast eternal plan if I were a wealthy man?